Try to start with it.
No.
Good afternoon. We're joined today at Stowe School with Tom and Marcelina from IE Madrid. Would you guys like to tell us all a little bit about yourselves? Over to you.
Of course. Thank you. So my name is Marcelina Salva, and I'm actually in charge of the undergraduate programs for the UK and Ireland region. I'm one of the managers based in the London office. So if you ever have any questions or in London, you are more than welcome to visit us. And I'm sure Thomas will introduce himself a little bit later on as well, but I'm joined here with Thomas, who is also supporting me in the UK office, and he's helping all of the students applying. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share with you a brief presentation, all the basic information about the IE University, and then we can answer all your questions afterwards.
Perfect, thank you.
So I like to start a little bit with a story about the IE University. We were created in 70s by a group of entrepreneurs who were looking into how to change and disturb the education sector. And they came up with 5 different pillars on how their perfect school should look like. So they decided that students should learn from a unique environment. They should have very international experience. And in the second, you will see what we mean by that. And it should be very much about learning through doing and turning your ideas into reality. If you have a startup idea, we have a space at IE where you can actually work with MBA and master students and make that startup a real thing. Then it's not only about the theory, but it's also about who teaches you. And we wanted to ensure that the faculty is very diverse and accessible. I had the pleasure of sitting on one of the lectures from a professor that is doing international relations. And she used to be a lawyer for United Nations, which kind of gives you the idea of who would your teachers be. And then at the end of the day, it's all about you, students. So they created a university that puts students at the center, where you can bring your ideas, you can start your own clubs. You are not just the number in the classroom. Your professors are going to get to know you, and you'll be able to question them, to ask questions. Now, when I said international experience, in 2024 intake, we had 80% international students, and I'm happy to say that we just started our September 2025, and we closed it with a cohort which has 89% of international students, which means that there's over 45 languages spoken on campus. And I often get the questions, but where do the students actually come from? So we are proud to say we have over 160 nationalities, and still the majority of the students comes from Europe. Just to give you an idea, UK right now is about on the 3rd space. So we would have Germany, Italy, and then France. Now, not all of you might know that, but we actually have 2 locations, but we pride ourselves that at the end of the day, it's a one experience. So we have campuses in Madrid and Segovia. On the pictures, as you can see, they look very different, but I promise you that in terms of academics, it's the same experience. And actually, Thomas graduated recently from the Madrid campus, so I know he would love to share some insights. Now, the IE Tower was open only 4 years ago, and it's quite futuristic. I know that one of you already visited, so perhaps you can also share some of your experiences. But the big thing that differs is that we don't do lecture halls. We actually don't have those big rooms where you can sit 300 students. Our classrooms usually have 60 people in them. And you can see the pictures on the screen right now. How do they usually look? It's very futuristic in the sense that in order to enter the building, you actually will need your face to be scanned, which kind of gives you like Tony Stark, Iron Man feeling. Then Segovia is a complete opposite in terms of the outside appearances. It's in the UNESCO Heritage Area. It's medieval architecture, but academically wise, the professors commute between two campuses, and we offer all of the programs nearly in both of the locations. Now, in terms of the studies, we offer two kinds of programs at IE. They are taught across 6 different schools, with the School of Humanities being the baby, which was created last year. The most common bachelors are the 4-year-long programs, which are quite similar to what you would find in the UK or Europe, where you choose one program and you follow it throughout the whole duration. The second type of degrees that we offer are dual degrees, which are 5 years long, and you specialize in 2 disciplines. It's a little bit more challenging, but it's a perfect program for students that want to broaden their horizons or are interested how different disciplines correlate with each other. One thing that all of those programs have in common is that they are built on these 4 principles: diversity, entrepreneurship, humanities, and innovation. If you are doing humanities, international relations, you will learn how to use artificial intelligence. You'll have VR classrooms. Even if you are doing applied mathematics, you will have classes in entrepreneurship. So this is something that is quite unique about IE. Now, this is just the base. Your program is just the base. We give you many different opportunities to build up on your experience. So you could do international exchanges, where we have over 200 partners. You can do internships with companies, or something that's called IE Labs, which are internships within the university with brands like Coca-Cola, European Commission. Or, of course, you can personalize your studies with electives and advanced seminars. Now, this is a big news, and you are one of the first schools that actually gets to hear about this. We just recently opened a second university, and it's called IE NYC. It's in New York, in Soho. And the exciting news about that is that you could do 3+1, which means you do a bachelor degree at university in Spain, and then you spend the last year in New York and you graduate with master and undergraduate. As of right now, only 4 programs apply to this exciting opportunity, which is business administration, law, politics, law and economics, international relations, and economics. But who knows, IE always changes. So in the future, there might be more programs that will be able to follow to New York. Now, something that it's a very big question, especially to parents, is what happens when you graduate. Now, we are happy to say that the class of 2024, 95% of the students, they were employed within 6 months. But I would like to also bring your attention to the number of graduating students. So in 2024, we had just over 1,000 students graduating, while the current intake for 2025 was over 2,500 students. So you can see how the IE University is growing each year. Now, our student gets employed by all of the big players. We are strategically located in the area of Madrid, where we're close to KPMG, PwC. These are one of the companies that visit the campuses. They recruit on campuses, so you are very well connected to many companies. Now, the employment by sectors, as you can see, in 2024, finance was booming. In 2023, it was consulting. So every year there are slight changes, but this is general overview. Now, I will briefly tell you about the admission process, and if you have any questions that are specific, let us know afterwards. The process is holistic. which means that we want to learn who you are as an individual, and it comes with five steps. You firstly do an online application, which is very similar to UCAS, and then we ask you to complete 2 tests, admission test and Kira assessments. You don't need to prep for them. Admission test is simple, kind of like an IQ exam where we test you on numerical skills, verbal reasoning. And in Kira, we ask you 3 questions, and we would just like to see your thought process and how you respond to a very out-of-the-box questions. Finally, once the admission committee reviews your application after the first 3 stages, you may be invited for a personal interview. Not all of the students pass to the interview stage. And after the interview, you get to wait for your final committee decision. Now, this is one of my last slides, and this is, at this point, it's a flagship event here in the UK office. We host something called an admissions day. It's usually done in November and March. And you're the first school to actually hear about this for the upcoming autumn term. We will be having another one on the 22nd of November, which is a Saturday. And this event gives you an opportunity to interview in person. You can register by scanning this QR code. Don't worry, I will also send the information to your school, or perhaps if you want to have more information, please send us an email, ask us questions. But the generic idea is that you need to have your application submitted by the 12th of November. But it's important to highlight that at the end of the day, the admission committee makes the decision whether you can progress to the interview or not. So registration doesn't straightforward mean that you'll be interviewed. And on that note, this is actually it from me, and we are happy to take your questions. Stop.
Hi again. Okay, I'll start. Do you find any of your students to have a preference between your IE or, your Madrid or Segovia campuses?
Yes, so I'm gonna jump into the questions now. Hi everyone, I'm Thomas from also the UK office. I'm based in Madrid, so I'm calling you from the south, from Spain. Based on in terms of preference, first of all, Segovia has less spots available because capacity is more limited. In terms of preference, we do see a big interest in going to Segovia from the international community, although it has been catching up a lot lately. So back when I started my studies in IE, I started in 2020. There was a lot of preference from international students for Segovia and for Spanish students for Madrid. That happened a lot because Madrid wasn't that popular back then. Now it's really popular with the international students, and also because the international community in Segovia was a little bit stronger. Nowadays, it's pretty much the same. So Marcelina mentioned that 89% of non-Spanish students in total in IE. The numbers between campus, the difference is really small. It's maybe 1% or 2%. So right now, the preferences are pretty, it depends a lot on the personal take on each one of the students. So depending on the lifestyle they want to have, of course, Segovia is a smaller city. It's a little bit colder in the winter. It snows. It's a smaller community, but overall, it depends a lot on the lifestyle that you're looking to have. Madrid is a big city, hectic. There's a lot of things happening all the time, and they're really well connected. So they're just separated by a 25-minute train. So the communities are also really well connected. So in terms of preference, depends a lot on a case-to-case scenario. In terms of experience of international students living, depends a little bit what you're looking for. But yeah, we don't see necessarily right now more interest in one than the other.
Thank you.
I was just wondering do you have to learn Spanish when you're there? Because is it a part of the program where you do compulsory lessons or no?
Yes, you do have to learn Spanish during year 1. So everyone who's not a native Spanish speaker or who cannot certify a B2 level in Spanish during year 1, they have to take Spanish classes. They do an exam. If they know anything of Spanish, they're placed in level 1, in level beginners. If they know something of Spanish, they can go either to intermediate or to advanced. The idea is that during that year, they take Spanish at no extra cost. They pass both of the exams, the one for the first semester in December, the one for the second semester in May. If they pass both of the exams, they are certified at B2 level, and that is kind of the requirement to graduate in Spain. So that would be kind of the mandatory aspect in terms of languages. If you wish to continue your studies from years 2 onwards, you can do that. It's at extra cost, but you can do that, and you can advance on the depending on the level you're at. And also you can take other languages. So we have the Language Center offers 5 other languages, which are Arabic, Mandarin, French, Portuguese, and German. And we also just open another kind of setting of Spanish. It's not available for year 1 students, just from 2 onwards. I would reconfirm that, but it's Spanish for business. So it's already kind of a more advanced level. You have to have a base, but it's really focused in doing business in Spain. And the scope is the idea of this level is basically to help students who want to stay in Spain to be more competitive when they apply to jobs.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
And I know you spoke about your years abroad and how you're connected with other universities. How does one apply or get chosen for a study abroad?
Yes. So 1 year before, first of all, every single program within the study plan, you can see which one is the semester that's intended to go abroad. If you're checking the study plan, it's where it says electives. So basically, you have an amount of credits that you have to choose different electives and sum up to that, and then receive a grade and whatever. So during that semester, 1 year before, you apply to the international exchange. Basically, you have the list available. It depends also on the program. So if you're doing, for example, behavioral sciences, you're not going to have the same universities as architecture. So it depends a lot on the program you're doing. And basically, you have the list. It's provided by your school. It's provided by the program management. And basically, there you have time to select your top choices. You send the list of the most interesting choices to you. And the spots are allocated on a GPA basis. So students with the higher GPAs, with the highest GPAs, they go first. They're put usually in the first spots, and as spots are being taken, students they get maybe the second choice, maybe the third choice. It is really difficult not to get one of your top 3 because there are so many options, and academically, all of the institutions that we work with, they're very similar in similar levels. Of course, there's more interest for some specific unis, but in general, all of the unis we work with, they're of a very similar, academic prestige and international ambience as IE University. So it's really difficult not to get in one of the top 3, although it may happen, of course. I think you get to choose up to 7, if I'm not wrong, or even 10. But again, that's something we could recheck, absolutely. But usually you would get within your top 5, most certainly. But it could happen though that you have a lot of bad luck. But in general, you would go to one of your preferred choices. Yeah.
Oh, great. So I know you guys were speaking about extracurriculars. Does the university provide those for students to do, or do you just suggest they do them?
Yes. It's not mandatory, so nothing's mandatory. It's up to the students to choose. We have a very strong student experience department. It actually has over 40 different staff members that they're working actively on coordinating the student clubs, on managing all of the events, all of the activities. We have over 200 student clubs, and last year we had around 900 events on campus led by student clubs. So there were activities to do every single day, almost in every campus. You're never going to run out of options of events to go, meet new people, socialize, and have fun. We have different ranges of events. Some of them are more for social, for fun. Some others are more professional. We bring speakers on campus, companies on campus. Some others are for learning, for developing skills. Like you have the public speaking club, for example. They just gather to develop these sort of skills. So yeah, in the end, it's not mandatory. It's up to you, but it's really difficult not to go to events because they happen in the common areas, and there's literally options for everyone, for all the different interests. And also, you do have the option of coordinating a club. So if you want to be more engaged into coordinating extracurriculars, into organizing events, and managing the relationship with sponsors, with speakers. Of course, the Department of Campus Life and Student Experience, they have staff people who will help you. But you can have a lot of kind of training in that area by being either a club president or a club leader, I don't know, an events manager, social media manager, whatever. So yeah, there is a lot of opportunities. They're not mandatory. But if you're active and you want to continue being active after high school and engage with the community, you can absolutely go for this.
Great, thank you.
I just have one more. After one submits their application, how long will it take for them to hear back whether they have an interview
Yes.
or the next step?
So depends, of course, on the time of the year and others. This is
Thomas, you're cutting a little bit. I think we're losing you.
I think he's gone.
Thomas.
Okay, I will answer the question then.
Thank you.
Yeah. It really depends. Whether there are any documents missing. If there are some documents missing, the admission team will follow up with you, and that can prolong the process. If there are no documents missing, it can take anywhere from 3 days up to 2 to 3 weeks. It will also really depend on the time of year when you are applying. So from the UK, I tend to say try not to apply after Christmas because it gets really busy. It's a peak season and you might be waiting a little bit longer.
Okay.
Thank you.
I've just got one more question as well about accommodation, because I know it's not similar to here in the UK where you could go in halls, say. So how would you go about getting accommodation at IE?
So generally, the IE University doesn't own accommodation. The only exception is our Segovia campus, where we have one building, which is actually connected to the main building with the classrooms. But you are not left on your own. We have a webpage called Beyond Campus, where our students book their accommodation through that. In Madrid, we have about 15, 16 different residency halls. And in Segovia, we have about 11. And you get to choose whether it's a single room, a studio, or if you would like to share the room with someone.
Okay, great. Thank you. Has anyone here have any questions?
We asked what the grade requirements for A-level.
So we've got a question saying, what are the grade requirements at A-levels?
So for A-levels, we're looking for a minimum of ABB. The general rule of thumb is subjects relevant to what you want to study. If you are thinking of economics, you should be taking mathematics. If you are thinking of doing law, maths is not going to be a requirement. Oh,
Great.
just to add on that, we are also looking at your GCSE certificates. So this is also an important part of the application.
What would you mean by looking at your GCSEs? What would you,
Good question.
what would you know if you couldn't get in?
So as a part of your application, you'll have to submit the official GCSE certificate. We want to see 6, 7, 8, and 9s, especially in the subjects that are very relevant. So economics, the maths GCSEs, it's going to be a very important part of the application when the committee is reviewing it.
Okay, thank you.
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you.
Which courses do not offer to go abroad? Or how do you know what places you can go abroad to?
Okay, so what courses don't offer the going abroad program, or how will you know what course doesn't?
Perfect. So at this moment, I believe all of them offer the option of going abroad. It's usually 1 term, and you either do it at the end of your 3rd year or at the beginning of the 4th year, the first semester or the last. And you can always check on our website. We have a whole PDF with exact time frame and when you can go on your exchange.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, miss.
I have a question. Are BTECs accepted at IE?
Are BTECs accepted?
This is a really good question. So if it's a BTEC level 3 national diploma, then yes, it can be accepted with the predicted grades of D star, D star, D star. The problematic qualification is a mix of 2 A levels and BTEC that may not be recognized by the Spanish government.
Oh, okay. No, that's again.
And for a reference letter, like, what are they looking for?
What are you looking for in a reference letter specifically?
So the recommendation is that at least one of those recommendation letters has to come from your school. And I mean, we get all sorts of different recommendations letter. There are some that focus purely on the academic performance of the students, while others also touch on the personal characteristics of the students. We have many applicants from your school, and the reference letters are always perfect. So the school knows what they're doing.
Has anyone else got any questions?
I think that's it.
I think that's it. Thank you so much for your presentation as well.
And thank you to Thomas.
And thank you, Thomas.
Of course. Actually, maybe one more interesting thing for you is the type of the offers that we give. So we hand out both unconditional and conditional offers. Unconditional offers means you just need to pass your A-level exams, and conditionals, you usually need to maintain your predicted grades.
Okay. I've got a question actually. Do you think it's worth, applying for a scholarship, say if you wanted to do that course and they did a scholarship specifically to that course?
Of course, 100% yes. So the way that scholarships work at IE, if you have predicted grades of 3 A stars, you get an automatic academic award, which is worth 30% of your tuition fees. And other than that, you can still apply for scholarships. You only apply for scholarships after you get admitted to university. You can choose up to 3 different scholarships, but if successful, you are only granted one. The percentage usually varies between 10 to 60% of the tuition fees. And once you receive that scholarship, it's for the whole duration of the program.
What is what do you need to do to apply for it, I guess? I don't really know.
There are so many different scholarships and they're quite open-ended. So you can have a scholarship which is purely academic. For this, obviously, it's your academic performance. We have a scholarship that it's called Collaborator Scholarship, which means that you're kind of like a student ambassador and you support the university on some of the weekends. It's not a full-time job. It's kind of giving a tour to prospective students. Another one could be your personal best scholarship. And in this one, it's if you are incredible in sports, in music, that kind of falls under the umbrella of the personal best.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sorry, yes. What are your attendance policies like?
So you need to attend a minimum of 80% of all of your classes. It's a very strict policy at IE that all students need to follow, and failing to comply with the policy might lead to you actually failing your subject, even if you pass your exams well.
Okay.
And can I just say, IE is coming on the 1st of October in the Sixth Form Centre, and then again in February, so you have plenty of time to catch up.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Thomas. Too.
Actually, I have one